Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time here, hello. Hi, my name is Mari and this is my 2022 techo kaigi. So the term techo kaigi is something I learned last year after I filmed my 2021 planner journal setup video. It's a very clunky name. I like the term techo kaigi a lot more. Techo kaigi is a Japanese term that essentially means a plan for all of your planners and journals for the year. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all of the journals and planners I will be using for next year. So yeah, just general quick disclaimers. I live in Hawaii and it's very hot and humid today, so I have the window open and I have a fan on. So if there's that background noise, I'm sorry in advance. And then also, I've been learning how to play guitar, and generally when you start learning how to play guitar, it does some funky things to your fingers. So if my fingertips look a little gross, that's why. I tried painting my nails to try and mask it. So I'm sorry if it still grosses you out, but what can you do? I'm trying to rock over here. I'm getting sweaty. I would like to get off camera. Without further ado, let's get to the techo kaigi. These are the 4 journals and planners that I aim to use at least the start of 2022. As a bit of background, I am currently a master's student and I'm going into quite potentially my last semester of my master's program. So I need to have journals for work/school because I will be a teaching assistant during the next semester, and then my journals for everything else in life. So first I'm going to get out of the way my journals for school and work. So the first thing that I have here is a Minute Manager schedule indicator for 2022. I saw this at a local stationery store and I fell in love with the design. I love the outside design. As you can tell, I really like the color green, as most of my journals have green on them. And then when you look on the inside, first there are the basic monthly calendars, which is great. And then we go into weekly spreads that have the days on one side and just a blank page on the other. So this is very similar to the planner that I used before at the start of 2021, and then all of the consequent bullet journals and planners that I kind of created for myself. I do really like this format. I put important things to note for the date on this first column, and then to-dos on these 2 columns, and then random notes here. And it's been working out pretty well so far. I really look forward to using this. I currently use this Stalogy multi-pen. It has a rollerball system and a mechanical pencil. So there's a mechanical pencil here and then rollerball ink in black, blue, and red. And that's pretty much all I really need. It has this great pen loop that fits in the Stalogy pen, and I pretty much can just take this to meetings with me and it does the job. I can make notes in pencil, I can make notes in pen in different colors, and that pretty much is all I need in terms of scheduling things for work, school, etc. The next journal I have is this moleskine in a hardcover. This is one of the newer colors. I saw it in Barnes & Noble and I couldn't not get it. I was in need of another moleskine for work, but I kind of impulse bought this one anyway. I'll link all of the places where I got these stickers from because they're all, for the most part, from local designers. I've been using a moleskine for the past honestly a few years to document my work on my thesis and whatnot, write down meeting notes, make to-do lists, that kind of thing. I really love this paper. It's really thin and it's not very forgiving, so if you use like gel pens or markers or fountain pens, it will probably not work with this moleskine, but I prefer to take my notes for work and school in a rollerball pen or in a mechanical pencil. So this moleskine is perfect. I love how it has a sort of scratchy feel to the paper, so there's like feedback when you're writing. It's very satisfying. It does the trick. It's very simple. And yeah, I highly recommend this notebook if you just need a place to write down things and you don't really want to get fancy about the utensils that you use with it. So these are the 2 green journals and planners that I plan to use for school and work, and so now we can move on to the fun stuff. So I have been using this traveler's notebook for over a year now, and I still love it. It is my favorite journaling accessory, I guess. It's been pretty beat up. As you can see, I scratch it when I pull off this, or it's gone into my bag and been scratched on the way out, so it's very well loved at this point, and it remains my reading journal to this day. I don't intend on changing it. I love having my reading journal in here. So let me walk you through what all is in here. This is a Daruma charm from Risk It Design. I will link it down below. I don't know if they have it in stock still, but I love this. It's a little acrylic charm that just goes well with so many things. Then the inside setup is going to be pretty similar to what it was last year. You open it up and there's this craft folder, and on the inside I have all of these stickers that I pretty much just put in there because they fit in the craft folder. I will be using the same grid insert that I used last year because it ended up that I still had like half the notebook to go by the time 2021 spreads ended. So yeah, I will still be using this to track my reading, and I'll show you guys a more in-depth setup of how I set up my spreads for 2022 in my reading log in another video. So stay tuned for that. Sorry to disappoint you if that's what you came here for. In the back here, I got the pencil board for the Traveler's Notebook 2022 release. I really love it. I think it's so cool and kind of like old westerny. And then I also have, because I still haven't put this in Jade City, the nameplate for the Jade Legacy pre-order. As always, my pen loop with my high-tech Kaleido C is on this craft folder. I really want to run out of this pen. I hate this pen. I really don't like it. I don't like the ink. I don't like the way it writes. But I am not the kind of person who just doesn't use something because they don't like it. I will still finish it out. So we're going to finish with that one. Instead of making reading spreads for 2022, I am going to just do a basic sort of daily reading log. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I stopped doing those reading spreads mostly because I would fall into slumps. I wouldn't read for long amounts of time, and then I wouldn't journal for long amounts of time, and then when I finally got back into reading, I fell out of love with journaling, and it was this cycle of I was always behind on something that was a personal project and thus didn't need to put myself in the position to feel pressured. So I just stopped doing it, and I have no hard feelings towards it or anything. It's just something I did for fun for a while, and now I don't do it anymore. So the last notebook in my Traveler's Notebook is a monthly calendar, actually. This is the blank monthly calendar insert from Traveler's Notebook, and as you can see, I've actually already filled in, I think, all of the months. I got really bored one day, and I liked this kind of fill in the month clock thingy that they have, and I also had made myself a bunch of day of the week stickers that I wasn't using, so I got bored and I filled out all of the months. I'm not 100% sure at the moment how I want to record my daily reading. Obviously I have a good chunk of space for each day of the year, but I don't know if I want to, for example, say, oh, I read 375 pages today, and write that down every single day, because I feel like that will be taxing. So I have some time to figure that out, just haven't quite figured it out yet as I'm filming this. This notebook also has a lot of free pages in the back, but like I said earlier, I don't like not finishing things, so I tend to finish journals, I tend to finish pens, just because, you know, I've already put so much effort into using it, why not finish it out, have a completed thing, sort of, kind of, not really. So I want to use the space in the back here that's just blank pages, no dots, no lines, no grid or anything, but I want to figure out a way to use it, and again, if I find a way that I want to use it, I'll let you guys know, but currently there's no plan. If you have any ideas for me, I would love to hear them, so yeah, let me know on that. But that is my reading journal for 2022. Again, I will show you guys my spreads in a separate video because Gotta get the views, right? Kidding. Let's move on to the very last journal that I have planned for 2022. So my very last journal that I plan to be using in 2022 is my Archer and Olive Traveler's notebook sized notebook. It probably looks exactly the same as it did when I set it up earlier this year, because it pretty much is. Once again, I have to say that I like finishing notebooks, and I did not come even close to finishing or using the spreads that I set up for 2021. So I have a lot of space in the book, about this many pages, free to use, and so I will be using it. This notebook has no set plan for it currently. What I plan to do is to fill it out with basically to-do lists and other things that strike my fancy. For example, I took a trip to San Diego last month, and I got a little fancy with planning for the trip because I was so excited for it. So I just broke out this journal, knowing that it takes pretty much all forms of inks very well, and made these spreads just, you know, because I was so excited. And it was a wonderful trip. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to do, and I feel like having a notebook that I have within reach and that has this purpose of, okay, I want to do some fun creative spread because I'm excited about journaling for once. I feel like that is something that I definitely need. I started trying to do some 2022 bullet journal spreads, but then I gave up. So I just made this pretty cover page, and that's about it. Like I said, I didn't really use any of the spreads that I last set up, so I kind of gave up on the whole bullet journaling thing just because I couldn't keep up with it. And yeah, I think it was just to satisfy a creative craving, and it really did work. Like, I love these Fire Emblem spreads that I made, but I don't always have this creative energy, so I want to honor that and not force myself to make spreads every month. But also have the option to create some spreads and to-do lists and other fun things when I do have that energy. And that is what this notebook is for. Sorry for the long-winded explanation. I did not plan out this part of the video. Yeah, this is very green. I did not realize how much of my journals were green until now. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That is my 2022 techo kaigi. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are using for 2022. I'm curious and want to hear what you guys are using, because I love watching these techo kaigis. It's honestly addicting. But yeah, thank you guys so much as always for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.